So hi everyone. Yeah, another day in the car. The rain just will not let up. Today, I'd like to talk about truth. Yes, small subject. It's just, but I just thought we should talk about truth and just. Now, obviously, I can't tell you what the truth is, okay? But we can talk about it, and we can make signposts, that sort of like point the way towards it. Anybody that tells you that they can tell you the truth, I would be seriously suspicious of, to be fair. There's enough of them out there. But the truth is that the truth is ineffable in a way. And I'll get to why that is later on. But firstly, we should probably define what we mean when we say truth. I'm not talking about relative truth, like relative truth would be if you asked me today, Dave, do you like chicken vindaloos? I would say yes. And I wouldn't be lying to you, but all I would be telling you is a relative truth. If you ask me in 25 years from now, Dave, do you like chicken vindaloos? I might be like, oh, they do my stomach in. I can't handle the aftermath. And again, in 25 years from now, I wouldn't be lying to you. But all I would actually be telling you is relative truth, okay? And relative truths can change. That's the point that makes them relative. The other thing I would say is that when people... I've had this conversation with people where they've said, oh, I don't think there's any such thing as ultimate truth. And I'd be like, okay, but is the statement, there is no such thing as ultimate truth, is that true? Is it true? Because if it is, it nullifies the statement itself. And there is no getting away from it that ultimately there is ultimate truth. Because even the statement that there is no ultimate truth can only be true if there is. So let's just accept that there is such a thing as ultimate truth, okay? And it doesn't require belief, like I said to you. Ultimately, it is self-evident. But if we run with a thought process that we were just saying about how, like, relative truth can change over time, then the thing that would make ultimate truth not relative is that it doesn't. Ultimate truth must be true now, and it must be true in 25 years, and it would have to be true 10 million years ago or 4.5 billion years ago. It would not be ever, it would never change because of time, because it's ultimate truth. It's not a relative truth. It's not more true now than it will be in 100 years from now. So another thing about ultimate truth is that it can't be confined by location either. So, like, I could say in Wales today it's raining, and that is true. And somebody who's sat in India might say, oh, it's a really lovely sunny day today. And that would be true as well. But they would only be two relative truths. They wouldn't be ultimate truth. Ultimate truth cannot be confined to like a geographical location. Okay, what's ultimate truth has to be just as true as it is here, as it is in India, and as it is in Alpha Centauri, or wherever you'd want to name. Ultimate truth is the same wherever you are. So there's some things that we can know logically about ultimate truth, is that it's not confined by time and it's not confined by space. So that's a kind of beautiful thing in a way, because it makes you realize that A, ultimate truth is infinite. It always has, is, and will be the truth. And it's not confined by space. It's not truer in any one place than it is in another place. So the truth is everywhere and nowhere, and it's also always is and always has been and always will be. So therefore the truth is not bound by time. So a lot of people, how I perceive it, are in the spiritual field, are kind of like fish swimming around looking for water. Okay, now one of the things that you notice as you wake up is that you do start to see more and more of the deception, and you can perceive the deception more as the more aware you become. So that's the sort of kind of thing that tends to grow in people, isn't it, as they go on this journey, is that they become more and more aware of the lies in the world, more aware of the deception, okay, more aware of false. I would say this as well, that everything's relative except for the ultimate, and the only way you can acknowledge relative is against the ultimate. And if something is 99.99% true, then it is ultimately false, because it's not 100% the truth. So there are things that could be true for a hell of a long time, like the earth exists in our perception of it, at least. And that could be true for a hell of a long time, but then one day that won't be true. So therefore, although it would appear to everyone to be true, it ultimately is a false statement. When I say to you that my name's Dave, I mean, I'm not lying to you, but ultimately that statement is false, because there'll be a time when I'm not Dave anymore. Yes, life will be over, or I could just go and change my name by default, and my name wouldn't be Dave. I could change that truth. Okay, it's only a relative truth, and ultimately it's false. I know it sounds a bit harsh to call things false, but we have to run with this train of thought. Okay, that it's like if something's not 100% true and ultimately true, then it is ultimately false. Okay, so you could ask yourself questions about yourself and just try and find out what is true about you. Okay, this is a really good way to like wake up deeper. Like, I think I've heard it referred to as self-inquiry. Okay, find out what is ultimately true about you. So for instance, I could say, oh, I'm 49. Well, it's false, because it's not ultimately true. It will change within a year. I could say that I am a white man living in Wales. It's not ultimately true. So if it's ultimately true, if it's not ultimately true, let's say, then it's false. So I'm trying to find something about me that is true, that's ultimately true. None of my likes or dislikes are ultimately true. They're false. So my name, my age, everything about my body is false. Okay. Saying that I live in the world is ultimately a false statement. Now, of course, we all know the saying that the truth will set you free. I do believe that. I believe the ultimate truth will set you free. But you've got to find out what the ultimate truth is, you know. Now, the only thing I can help you with is that if you like I was saying about you being able to perceive falseness and stuff, there's and like I'm talking about fish like not being able to perceive water. The reason why when we have a conversation like this, which is quite a difficult conversation to have, if you like, is because we are trying to talk about what you actually are. Okay, now in another video we talked about the observer and the observed, okay, and how you can realize that you're not your body, not your mind, because of the fact that you're capable of observing those things. But the only thing that you can't observe directly is the truth. And the reason why you can't observe it directly and talk about it directly is because it's the only thing that you actually are. Okay? It's the only thing that you actually are. So you cannot observe it. You cannot be aware of it because you are it. Yeah. Try and get your head around that. I mean, like, I'm sure many of you have. Okay? And I've really, just on a side note, I've really appreciated like the comments and stuff that I've had over the last day or so. It's really nice that people are interacting with me and talking to me, and it's that what I'm saying is getting people to think about their own lives and you know, and taking the time to comment and stuff. You know, I do appreciate it. And although I'm working long hours and you know, I've got quite a physical job, and you know, I have these kind of 10 minutes between now and getting home where I make these videos. I do appreciate it, and I will try to reply to people, you know, so yeah, so please feel free to do that. But next time you've got a quiet moment, you know, or you're meditating or whatever, you know, even if you don't meditate, like I say, I don't myself regularly meditate or anything like that. I don't feel the need to. But I do like to contemplate. Okay, I do like to sit and take time and just like think things through, you know. You use logic to enlighten oneself, you know. And that is what I would say to you, okay, is that you ask the question yourself. What is true about me that is not ultimately false? And then try to get to the place where you can come face to face with the fact that the reason why it is that the truth has always felt elusive and always felt like something that you cannot look at directly is because it's the only thing that you are. Every single other thing in this creation you are capable on some level of observing and being aware of. The only thing you can't is the ultimate truth. It's a difficult one to talk about, but we're on this journey. I mean, the channel's called Journey Towards Truth, okay? So like, you know, we have got to, like, you know, look at this stuff head on and try and talk about it the best way we can, even though it's incredibly hard to do. But I hope that it's give you something to think about, and something that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. And we're just going to carry on, you know, we're going to carry on having, you know, reasonable conversations about the deepest subjects, okay? And I'm going to continue with my story as well, obviously, because I think that a lot of points in my personal story are valid for other people to listen to, because in different way, everyone's going through their journey differently, but there are points within my own story that I think relate to a lot of other people, okay? So, okay, take care, and we'll do this again. Bye.